Welcome to the final days. Today is May 14th, 2019. Sorry I was out of commission for a while, but when internet goes down way out here in the boonies, it can take a long time to get it back up running. Today we will be viewing several different sky and space anomalies not mentioned by mainstream media. The purpose of this channel is to show the viewers that we are living in the very last days according to the Holy Bible, and to explain why this is good news and cause for celebration. Explain later in this video. The images we will be viewing are all current images from the Federal Aviation weather cameras in Alaska and Canada. Each image is 10 minutes apart from the next. Our first video was captured by the southeast-facing weather camera located in Cape Spencer, Alaska. I'll play the video exactly as it came off the camera, then I'll play it again with some contrast added so that the details show up better. I cannot hazard a guess as to what this object is, but it has very large holes in it like Swiss cheese, and it's obviously rotating. I cannot tell if this object is a naturally existing asteroid or a broken piece of a celestial object, or if it was manufactured, but I can tell you that this is one of the signs of the end times. Jesus tells us in the Bible's book of Luke, chapter 21, verse 25, that we will see signs in the sky when the end is near. Every effort is made to hide objects like this and to remove images like this from the weather cameras before the public has access to them. I only get what they miss. On May 1st, the sun rose at 5:26 a.m. from the perspective of the east-facing weather camera in Point Lay, Alaska. Essentially, in this image we are viewing, the sun has been up for over 3 hours and is somewhere within the large area of glare. In the same photo, something else has just risen within the past 30 minutes. Remember the size of this small blue orb as we go through these images. Here is the size of the real sun. As you can see, using size comparison between these two images, which are a half hour apart, the small bluish ball in the first photo was not the sun. This is another sign of the last days. This video from May 1st from the east-facing camera in Chandler Shelf, Alaska, shows two large celestial orbs, very blurred by technology. The technology is in place to blur and fade these celestial objects from view. Untold trillions have been spent on the technology to hide this inbound planetary system, which has brought with it a dark nebula into our solar system. This nebula can be viewed on my April 15 video and several other previous videos. The reason that trillions have been spent to hide this celestial system is because the enemies of Christ do not want you to know how close we are to the end. The enemies of Christ do not want you to turn your life over to Christ while you still have time. Instructions are at the end of this video telling you how to accept Christ into your life. This is the same camera 12 days later, on May 13th. In the first frame, NASA's equipment, discussed later, emits a black beam in preparation for an eclipse. We can see the faint, fuzzy outline of a large celestial orb just to the right of the sun. Dr. Claudia Albers, an astrophysicist with a YouTube channel, says that there are many of these orbs in our solar system and that most of them are stellar cores, which are low-mass, burned-out stars that siphon energy from our sun as they pass by it. Every day these objects pass between the Earth and the sun, causing multiple solar eclipses. The reason we don't see these eclipses is because NASA's manufactured light, with the black dot, passes in front of these objects while the real sun passes behind. NASA launched a very bright light out away from the Earth's surface, which tracks in perfect synchronization with our sun. This equipment shows up as a black dot if the viewer or camera is directly facing the equipment. This is why the black dot is not always visible. This black dot equipment casts a reflection upon the water's surface, as seen from yesterday's image from the northeast-facing camera in Sisters Island, Alaska. This black dot equipment is capable of producing a circular glare thousands of miles in diameter in order to hide celestial objects between the Earth and the Sun. Even though the glare can be thousands of miles in diameter, the equipment producing that glare is tiny enough to completely disappear behind a thin flagpole and even a tiny bird feeder post. Our real sun could never disappear behind a thin flagpole or bird feeder post. When these images were taken, the real sun was behind a dark nebula, as detailed in my April 15 video and several other previous videos. The east-facing weather camera in Quebec, Canada, shows an enormous hole in the atmosphere. A different atmospheric hole in Alaska was featured in my April 6 video, viewed from two different towns. I don't know why our atmosphere has holes. This is another sign that we are living in the very last days. Yesterday, the east-facing camera in Sisters Island looked like this at 3:08 p.m. local time. 10 minutes later, it looked like this. It is possible that NASA's manufactured light malfunctioned. This has happened in the past. Some of you have seen this February 25th footage from the Anchorage camera, where NASA's sun appeared to be in a possible state of malfunction, flashing wildly as it crossed the sky. Now, if this were our real sun, we would have all been burnt to a crisp in a matter of minutes. On May 12th, a similar malfunction occurred and was caught on the west-facing camera in Cape Fanshawe, Alaska. Just 10 minutes later, the scenery was completely washed out with an intense glare that lit up the mountains and water, as you can see. 10 minutes later, everything was back to normal. The west-facing camera in Tenakee Springs captured a moon orbiting a larger celestial body around 4 p.m. local time. At first glance, it doesn't look like anything special, but some contrast helps to bring out the detail, as well as some close-up images of these same pictures. The west-facing camera in Thorn Bay, Alaska, captured a large sphere that seems to change colors. We also see the craft flying close to the object. This craft is always present when celestial objects are in view. It works with NASA's equipment to help conceal the celestial objects from view. The south-facing camera in Sitka, Alaska, captured a heavily cratered red sphere, which is rotating very fast. We know this can't be a lens flare of our sun because it's rotating quickly, and our sun only rotates once every 27 Earth days. These are more of the signs of the last days. In just a minute we will see a projector being used to simulate our moon. Approaching the last days is cause for celebration for faithful followers of Jesus Christ, because he is removing from earth those believers who are living in holiness. This is commonly called the rapture, which will take place quickly and quietly just before the dawn of the Great Tribulation. The New King James Version of Luke chapter 21 verse 36 reads, "Watch therefore, and pray always, that you may be counted worthy to escape all these things that will come to pass." Jesus is referring to the Great Tribulation. He is saying that those who are counted worthy will escape all of God's wrath. To be counted worthy, we must be living in holiness. A link in the description box below discusses what holiness is and how to achieve it. The west-facing camera in Chilkat, Alaska, begins at nearly 1:30 in the morning, local time. The moon is being projected as a bell-shaped equipment passes by it. Here is a better view of the same thing taken from the south-facing camera in Harris River Pass, Alaska. As the moon appears to be traveling across the nighttime sky, a bell-shaped projector carefully travels at the same speed, passing the moon as it projects the moon. It is possible that the moon is being eclipsed by a celestial object, requiring projection to make it appear unchanged. The yellow crescent begins on the left side of the moon. As the moon crosses the sky, the yellow crescent actually ends up on the right side of the moon. This is not natural. This same bell-shaped equipment shows up in thousands of images across Alaska and Canada. Here it is from the northeast-facing camera in Level Island, Alaska. We are only seeing a reflection of the bell-shaped equipment here, not the actual equipment. This is a reflection. Here is the bell-shaped reflection again on the northeast-facing camera in Eagle, Alaska. These are all signs that we are living in the very last days. Many people mistakenly believe that there is a fourth or fifth dimensional ascension for good people, or that all good people automatically go to heaven. This is a lie from the demonic realm. Heaven is only available to those who have accepted Jesus into their hearts and lives. Jesus tells us this in his own words in John 14:6. Bill Weiss gives a great analogy of why being good doesn't get a person into heaven. Let's say you walk up to the door of the finest house in the country. You knock on the door. When the owner opens the door, you say, "I'm a good person. I'm moving in." The house owner says, "I don't know you. Go away." It's the same with heaven. You can't live your whole life without knowing, trusting, believing, and loving God, and then one day go knocking on heaven's door expecting to enter. Living for Christ is much more than holding an opinion that he died on the cross long ago. Living for Christ is a way of life. You must make him the center of your life. The only reason that your eternal soul has been sent into this fallen world is so that you can choose to love Christ out of your own free will and live according to that love. This is the only reason we are here in these temporary flesh bodies. These next few screens will tell you how to accept Christ into your life in the event you are seeking Him. Simply pause the screens if you need more time to read the text.